Okay, hello, welcome back everybody. We are back in SCUM and this is my not quite a review. So let's jump into it. So I bought SCUM back when it released in 2018 and since then it has been collecting dust in my Steam library. But I wanted to check it out as a pretty casual solo player to see how it would work out for me. And now I got about 80 hours in the game, and I just finished Season 3. And at the time of this recording, the game is in version 0.9.544, and it's still in early access. I got some notes on my screen, so if my eyes are all over, I apologize, but I'm not smart enough to remember all my notes here. But yeah, I'm a pretty casual player, and jumping in, it can be very overwhelming for a new player with all the stats, the skills, the maintenance of your character, and all that. Pretty hardcore survival game there, and that's probably one of the things that makes SCUM stick out. It's exactly that hardcore survival mechanic. But I chose to ignore that and just play the game. And I think it worked out pretty good. And as a solo player, you gather your gear, you get what you need to survive, and that's basically it for the game. You will spend some time learning the basics, like how to craft a bow and arrow, knife, axes, and all that good stuff. You will also spend some time getting to familiarize yourself with the UI, the different crafting mechanics and stuff like that. But once you get a grip of all that stuff, there's not much other to do than go out in the big world and explore the map. Because the map is pretty huge, and I highly recommend trying to get a vehicle put together as soon as possible. If you find a vehicle with at least an engine and 3 wheels, you're pretty much set. All you need then is an alternator and a battery and some fuel and probably some doors and some gas. But that's all you need. And then you have a vehicle, and it makes the game way easier and more bearable, because without it, it's pretty large running simulator. But then you can start to explore the towns and the different POIs around you. But one of the one of the issues for me was that once you've been into some of the small towns, you have pretty much been into all of them. I really wish that there were more variety to the smaller towns, and the overall architecture of the map is the same. That goes for the farms, the small towns, the a bit larger cities, and I'm guessing that has to do with performance in such a large map. But the overall feeling of the map and environment is still good, and you can have a good time just exploring. There are some really interesting parts to the map, so you should really go out and explore. But you'll notice that there are a lot of similarities and not too much variation. But it kind of makes sense to a certain degree. I just wish that there were more variety. What is sticking out though are some interesting POIs on the map, like you have different factories, you have big train yard, 2 train yards, some naval submarine bases, well, not bases, but base. You have 2 really big cities, one that you can enter freely, and one that is in a contaminated zone where you need to make an effort to go into and have a hazmat suit and all that good stuff. There's also a snowy part of the map. I didn't really explore that part of the map too much, but from what I've heard, there are some really cool places up there too, so you should really go explore there. But once you reach a certain point though, there's really not much left to do. And that's not really exclusive to SCUM, as other survival games also have that same issue, that once you reach a certain point, as I said, in the game, you got all you need to survive, you mastered the crafting, you got some good guns and stuff like that, then there's really not much to do. So that's when I like to start to make challenges for myself, like a permadeath challenge. You die. Or you can only use a handgun and a bow and stuff like that. But yeah, that's something every, in my opinion, survival game without quests and tasks struggles with, at least as a solo player. But being a solo player means that you can play on a local save and you can customize your experience as you like it. You can change every setting in the game. Loot spawns, the amount of puppets or zombies, and stuff like that. I turned off mechs in the game, as I really don't like that feature in games. It was one of the things that really turned me off Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the drones and stuff like that. So I just turned the mechs off. And I initially had suicide puppets turned off, but I did turn those on later, once I was more comfortable with the game. But it is pretty cool that you can do that you can customize your experience. There are fishing, hunting, and cooking in the game. I did not try any of that because I just gathered what food I could and ate that. And there are cookbooks you can find apparently that you need to make dishes, which is kind of cool. You can paint and customize your cars or vehicles, and you really, really need to get to the airfield and take a plane for a flight. That's highly, highly recommended. Just do that, do a flyover of the map, and it will put things in perspectives. So let's talk quick about performance. I'm running the game on a 5950X with 64 gigs of RAM. I got a 3090 and the game is running off an NVMe. I'm running on mostly the highest settings, and overall the game is performing good, but I can only speak on behalf of my hardware. There are a lot of pop-ins, especially when driving a car and flying the plane. But once you're in a place and everything has loaded in, the game runs really good. But there are what I would call some legacy bugs, because there's some issues with the game that's been there for at least a couple of years, as far as I could read up on. And that's items can spawn under the ground when loading in. That really sucks when it happens to your car. A quick fix can be to try and revert your save. That has happened a couple of times. Using the car jack for service, you have to have the car on a really flat leveled surface or it won't work. Or in worst case, the car jack just disappears. And that's no fun. I've had a couple of crashes where I had to revert my save to get the vehicle back. And there's a lot of NPCs clipping. And that's really annoying. Really annoying. They get stuck in and clip through walls, and they clip through your vehicle when you try to run them over. And the first couple of times, it's kinda is what it is, but it gets really annoying after a while, at least for me. And I don't know if they can fix that, because that apparently has been in the game for years. So if they could fix it, then why isn't it fixed yet? But one could hope. So to conclude my not quite a review, if you're a casual player and you enjoy playing survival games, you will probably have a good time. Overall, you will have a good time. You don't really need to get into all the health and metabolism, the skill stuff to enjoy the game. It will enhance your character if you do that. But all you need to do is to make sure you get the bare minimum to stay alive. And that's what I did, and I've been having a great time. You will probably have a greater time playing with a group of friends on either a PvP or PvE server. I'm guessing a PvP server in the long haul with a group of either friends or a group you get to know on the server will, in the long run, be the best option. Or maybe not the best option, but will probably give you the best experience of the game. The devs are constantly putting out devlogs and updates, which is really, really awesome of them. I think it's stated for going into 1.0 Q1 2025. And if you're really interested in this game, you should take a look at their YouTube and look at their devlogs and behind the screens. There you have it, my not quite a review of SCUM. And it's a great game if you're into survival games, either playing solo or if you want more longevity out of the game, play it with a group of friends. And if you made it this far, that's awesome. Please do the YouTube thing. A thumbs up really helps with the algorithm, and I will catch you in the next one.